us, but especially affects children, the young of the country and around the world. We'll go from how technology is changing our daily lives to how we can reconnect with our roots. First, with screens becoming such a big part of our lives, are the young losing touch with the joy of stepping outside, playing and connecting with nature? This worry sounds familiar. We've heard it for years now, but a number is being put to this phenomena. A global report has highlighted that 1 out of 10 children don't step out even once a week. What should you as parents and guardians do in the face of this prevalent challenge? Speaking of enhanced digital addiction, we'll also touch upon this morning on a heated debate in India. Should schools ban phones altogether? Are mobile devices helpful tools for learning or major distractions holding the children back? And then we will go over to our persons of interest, a truly inspiring couple, also the founder of Roll the Dice. They're running an initiative dedicated to reviving traditional Indian board games. Through their work, they're not just bringing back fun and strategy, but also preserving a vibrant part of India's cultural heritage. And finally, we will be moving on to the world of auto. We get you an in-depth look at Toyota Land Cruiser 300, a SUV that is known for its rugged capabilities and luxurious features. An overdrive verdict coming up this morning. First, starting with our spotlight subject, we're living in a time when kids scroll more than they blink and classrooms sound like ringtone factories. India is now part of a global debate over whether smartphones even belong in schools. Half of Indian parents want them banned outright. A third want limited use just for study. The rest think phones are harmless. Across the world, educators are saying the same thing. Smartphones are breaking focus. They're fueling anxiety and turning teachers into screen police. But the screen problem doesn't end at the classroom door. A University of Michigan study says 1 in 10 kids don't play outdoors even once a week. Parents say it is safer indoors, safer from strangers, from bruises, from real life and perhaps pollution in the case of some of these cities. Doctors warn that outdoor play builds focus, coordination and confidence, skills you don't get through a screen. And now there is a worrying new layer. Recent studies show a growing link between high screen time and ADHD symptoms in children. Researchers say too much screen exposure disrupts sleep, attention, emotional control too. Pediatricians report the same pattern: more impulsivity, less movement and fatigue disguised as laziness. Parents are caught in the middle. They hand kids screens for safety, then worry about what those screens are actually doing to their minds and to their bodies. So let's take that conversation forward. First, I do want to go across to Mansi Zaveri. She is a parenting coach and founder of Kids Top Press. She joins us this morning. Alongside her, joining us is educationist Shobha Bagai. Good morning to both you ladies. Thank you so much for taking out the time. Mansi, I want to begin with you, since you must be interacting with a lot of parents on an everyday basis. How frequent is this one complaint of my child not being able to move away from their gadgets?
Thank you so much. Yes, it is a persistent, ongoing conversation that I am listening to every single day, whether it's on the Kids Talk Press Instagram page, where we're flooded with DMs on screen time addiction, or whether it is on our YouTube channel or in the offline workshops that I take, so much so that we had to finally break this down into a course and a module on our website, because I think what parents are doing is, like medicines, we're treating this symptomatically, right? We're saying, okay, what is it that we should do? We're not taking a step back and say, why are screens such a big addiction? There is a reason, there's a reason, pattern and behavior that is being backward integrated to design each one of these apps. And, I'd love to actually share more about, and I'm sure later through the course of this interview I will, which is on the most critical time for a parent who's handing over that device to their child. What are some of the do's and don'ts? How can parents battle that? And that the do's and don'ts, when that moment when we actually hand over the phone to our child, is what I call the golden hour of handing over a device, golden hour of screen time, where you decide the boundaries, you decide which device You decide what goes on that device. Not every device that is handed over needs to be a smartphone. In case it is a smartphone, what are the apps? How should you set up that phone? All of these, and how do you even monitor that phone, right? I think there is so much more. I think we've just made it so easy by blaming it on our children. Bahar jaake nahi khel rahe ho, you're not going out and playing, you're constantly distracted. We are like one-way communication without understanding that we are the ones to blame. We
Yeah.
cannot they're all under 18. What are you going to blame on them?
And for those, who, let's say, in higher education, they're pursuing higher studies, they're, let's say, in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, a lot of them now do need gadgets. And post-COVID, that phenomena has heightened even further. Before I go across to Shobha ji, Mansi, quickly tell us what your take on digital gadgets, phones, tablets, all of this being available in schools. Do you think
Okay,
that
so
also
let's
furthers the whole problem of how parents are having to cope with this back home?
So let's understand that it is become an it's it is like how we were growing up with Google. These kids are growing up with devices, right? It's a non-negotiable because they're now on a global playground. Today, look at the participation, look at the activities that they're doing, right? Just to give you a very small instance, my daughter's participating in a debate tournament, and her friend is from her counterpart is from Delhi. She's participating in a debate which is based out of the US. How is this playground going to be possible without a device? Right? So I'm absolutely someone who's not against devices by any means. What is very important is how we're using them and how are we drawing boundaries. Schools, very important. And I think I'm so happy with the Indian schools. In our schools, we've never had a problem of take your phones to the classroom. We've always had a policy of leave your phones. At least a large part of the Indian schools, leave your phones or deposit your phones before you enter schools, take your phones when you exit schools. So that is very, very important. And I don't think that taking away the device is the problem. The problem begins when children are using it for regulating themselves. And what I mean by regulating is taking it as a break or a me time or finding comfort and solace when they're sad, finding space in a device to confide or to talk. That is when it becomes a problem. But for studies, it has become a necessary evil, and none of us would have been able to function. Schools are putting in their boundaries. But I think what is most important, and we recently shared this on Kids Talk Press as well, where we posted this feature, this reel, which is on kids are now using Google Docs to bully children. So if you are not going to explain to your child what are boundaries, what are healthy boundaries, what they can do with this powerful tool, if you don't have that connection,
Yeah.
then they are going to misuse it. So I would say it is a necessary evil, but the idea is, and I'm completely not of the belief of banning things, because I don't think banning creates any sort of regulation.
That's
I
exactly
think
what the
it
Delhi
just
High Court said. Very recently, the Delhi High Court
absolutely.
said that an all-out ban is an impractical move, and we're not going to go ahead with it. Let schools individually lay out some of these guidelines. Shobhaji,
Absolutely.
what's your take here? Because a lot of countries have gone ahead with nationwide protocols, and I'm talking about countries like France, China, Italy, Netherlands. They have all imposed a single guideline on schools, and that's how it's being followed. There are others who are adopting a fusion model, as is being recommended in India as well, that each school must decide how it wants to take this challenge forward, how it wants to deal with this, how it wants to instruct parents on what they must do at their end. What's your take, Shobhaji, on this increasing challenge? It's not a challenge that parents alone are facing. Teachers are also in the midst of, whether or not we must let them get exposed to the kind of digital world that's out there, because that also comes with a lot of opportunities, or should there be boundaries set?
So a very good morning to all of you. And I somehow tend to agree with Mansi that a complete ban uh, on any kind of a device in the current generation may not be a very viable or a suitable thing. The reason being, as we are moving ahead, we are going towards globalization. So, when Mansi said that at our time we were, growing up with Google, and I suddenly felt at our time we neither had Google, neither we had internet, neither we had computers. But saying that, I don't think so. I would like to put it up that the current generation should be allowed to grow up the way that we grew up. The conditions, the environment were completely different, but yes, a boundary has to be set. And for that, another takeaway point that I would like to take from what Mansi said is, if you have this survey and you look at the background of the parents, most of these parents are an educated lot.
Yes.
Now, if they do not set these boundaries, because nowadays, with AI coming into view, you have so many open softwares that are there which allows on your screen. You can always have that certain apps cannot be opened up, but
Yes.
certain apps can be. Now, that is something that needs to be done. You know, the parents are to be much more educated, in fact. Then, in fact, the children, and laying it completely on the schools, on the teachers, again, I don't think it's a very, a good move. The reason being that, yes, most of the schools that even I am aware of it, they ask them that once when you enter the school premises, the phones are left either with the class teacher or they have a specified person. Now, during that duration, because most of the parents, I think one of the very common things that I have heard is that we need to know that where our child is,
Yeah.
once when they are entering to the school and when they are moving out. Because some of them, they are going with the school buses, some of them, they engage certain private drivers and they are also very wary about their safety. Yes, that's a good move. But beyond that, in fact, more than the schools, it is the time that a child spends outside a school, where they get this time to look at the various apps, and, there are
But
certain.
it's a slightly notorious question, Shobhaji, but we've seen through the years, there are so many ways children come up with to just sneak in their phones. There is always a notorious way out. So while
Children nowadays are smarter, we
Yeah.
need to be smarter than them.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
And to just add to
Yeah.
Shobhaji's point, I'd just like to add, we're forgetting a very important and a large segment of India today whose children are taking a public transport, right?
Yeah.
Who are maybe taking at least grade, above 16, grade 9, 10, 11, 12. They may be taking Ubers back home or a taxi or something like, or a public transport. And it's so important for that parent to be connected. Like she said, we're not always driving our children in chauffeur-driven cars where there is always connectivity with an external person or a trusted partner or a trusted caretaker
Yeah.
or a caregiver, right? So I think that is such an important reality of India, especially of the working class, that it is not an absolute okay with a ban because yes, connectivity with our children today is now a safety requirement more than anything else for us.
Okay, lovely. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and now talk about what digital overuse is doing to, or the kind of
Yes.
impact it's directly having on outdoor play and what can be done
Yes.
there. And I'll come to the both of you in just a bit. But before that, I do want to go across to actor Saksham Kapoor, who's also with us this morning. He's played a very interesting character in a film, Zindagi Milegi Dobara. It's all about digital addiction and how the need of the hour is to move away from it, to understand so much more lies beneath this digital world that is out there to almost keep seeking your attention on a daily basis. Saksham, good morning. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Good morning.
Hi Saksham, let's begin with the character you played in Zindagi Milegi Dobara, and is there a personal story there? How do you relate
All right.
to the character you played? Vyom.
Yeah. So like my character in the film Zindagi Milegi Dobara is every other guy nowadays. Like every other guy is on their phones. Every children is on his or her phone. So it makes it really difficult for the parents to deal with their children. Like nowadays because the screen usage is skyrocketing. So I mean, if you ask me about my movie, like my short film, it's based on a similar theme that my character is like indulged into screens and he's not listening to his parents. He's not living in the real world. He's living in a virtual world. So it's his journey basically, that how he overcomes the fear of talking to a person in real life.
He's lost out on all personal connections. He doesn't know how to forge those connections with real life
Exactly.
people, real life situations. Can I ask you, Saksham, whether you've also recently passed out of school, you're pursuing your education still. Have you changed or noticed any sort of a change in the kind of usage of gadgets that you have seen in your immediate circle or personally the last 5-6 years? Has it peaked in any way?
Absolutely. I mean, people tend to be on their phones every time. Like when I talk about my the personal circle that I have, the one thing that comes into my mind is as soon as people wake up, they just like pull their phones. They
What you
just
call
use
doom
Instagram.
scrolling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they just the first thing they do on after waking up is checking their phones. I mean, that's just messed up. Like that just deteriorates the energy levels for the whole day. So yeah.
Yeah, and Mansi, the challenge here is the child, and you can come in on this and tell us whether parents have felt this. Children seem to feel that they're going to be left out in this race of not having caught up enough or not keeping up with the current trends. So you talk about OTT platforms, you talk about this whole reel scenario. If you're not keeping up with it, you're going to be socially left isolated. Is that the next big challenge parents face then? How do you put that thought into their mind that you need to draw boundaries, establish boundaries, have only a certain hours of digital use in a day when these are the other parallel challenges the child is coping with?
Absolutely. I think what we can do is make sure that when you are, like I spoke of the golden hour, when you are, and Saksham spoke of, the first thing they want to do in the morning is scroll. If you have your screen time played out from 8 a.m. or 7:45, because 8 a.m. they're actually reaching school, but not from 7 a.m. or 6:45 when they wake up, and you just explain the regulation part of it, that you don't need to check this first thing in the morning. And I feel the earlier you set these boundaries, if you're trying to do this in 10, 11, 12, it's going to be very hard. Grade 10, 11, 12, it's going to be very hard. It has to be started from the day that you hand over that device. Literally, the day that you hand that device over, there needs to be like a contract or an MOU between a parent, because that's the only time that you're going to be in this position where you can explain and they will listen.
And
Because there is a very strong transaction.
how can early on parents recognize that their child is not getting enough outdoor activity? Because sometimes that recognition, realization hits you later. It's too late by then.
Yes, absolutely. And I am not even going up to the age of 10, 11, grade 10, 11, 12. Parents have started realizing that the children are not playing outdoors when they can't start writing. So as early as kindergarten or pre-kindergarten, when they can't write, they're not being able to hold, grip. They can't do the pincer grip because they are not playing. They're not playing with clay, or they're not coloring, or they're not holding monkey bars, because this grip for us is so important that when that eye-hand coordination or the gross motor skills are never developed, and then obviously the fine motor is never developed, because they're not picking things up, they're swiping and scrolling. Like even the act of plucking a flower or plucking a leaf or playing with sand is developing their fine motor skills. But we see parents complaining of, my child is unable to write. That child is not unable to write. That child needs to play, because he's not using all the muscles that are there in his hands. In above grade 4, 5, 6, we see attention spans decrease, we see irritability, we see longer hours spent alone, we see a lot of sleep dysregulation amongst children. They don't want to get out of their rooms, they want to sleep for longer hours. They're seeing lack of vitamin D3 going down, and therefore wanting to sleep and stay indoors for. So it's all a vicious cycle. And again, what they want to do is their me time, break time, they want to cut off social connection. They don't want to go out with their friends. Now, to me, these are all red flags. These are all red flags that I'm so sure that my child is not doing this. You are again seeing the symptom, but you're
Yeah.
not seeing why this is happening. And I
Yeah.
think at every stage, the symptoms look very, very different.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Saksham for a bit and ask him whether he's had these difficult conversations with his parents, for instance. A few years ago, maybe, Saksham, have you been caught in that spot? You've had to navigate that challenge, and how did you cope with it? So that it's a story that's relatable to everyone watching this, not just parents, but also children.
Yeah, so I mean, I was like every other child. Like I was using my phone every time, and my parents were like giving me lectures every time. Like, why are you always on your phone? Why are you using your phone like 24 hours? So but the difference was that I tried to include sports and any physical activity in my day, in my schedule, while using the screen. So the problem with today's generation is that they don't tend to include a sort of physical activity, be it anything. I mean, it can be yoga, it can be meditation, it can be running, it can be walking, anything. But they are missing out on that. So that's really adversely affecting their lifestyles.
Okay, and Shobha ji, once again zooming out a little bit, do you think in general outdoor play is being undervalued because there is so much focus on academics, and with academics now, because of the changing education scenario, we're seeing more gadgets being used, there's a lot of online communication, so one's really not left with an option. How much of a role do you think the academic context and what we're witnessing overall change in our surroundings is playing?
See, I would again like to come back that even in academics, I think there is a rat race that has started.
Yeah.
You would now see that, when the students were preparing for either the engineering or the medical, they would at least start from their class 11th grade. From 11th grade, it went down to 9th grade, and now you see that there are modules being created even for the 5th grade. That is one thing. The second thing is, somehow I feel it is not the peer pressure amongst the students, but the peer pressure amongst the parents to say that their children are ahead. Like when Saksham said that, his parents told him not to use the screen phone. The question I would like to pose is, at the first stage, who gave him the phone?
Yes, absolutely.
And did they stop using their phone? Did they limit their digital use?
So that's exactly what it is there. See, it is a necessary evil. The gadgets are there in our lives. We cannot get away with that. But I think what needs to be done is, what are the pros, what are the cons? As far as even the mobile gadgets are done, there are certain mobile games that are there, and you'll be surprised to know that in our classes, I'm a mathematics teacher, we try to find out the mathematics behind that game. So the games are also being used in an academic context. But that
Absolutely.
is a connection, that is a boundary, that is a barrier that I think one needs to define it very, very properly. It's easier said than done. But I think, if every parent, every teacher, every educationist starts taking this step, because a child which is, who is till 9th, I feel, they are not very, very mature enough to understand what is right, what is wrong. It's only, once when they start coming to the 9th grade. So trying to explain them at that lower age, that this is not correct, maybe they will not understand. The students or the children may not understand. I think it's for us much more important, to explain it to the parents first.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
walk the talk. Walk the talk is what parents must do, and that's the only way of clearly communicating the intent behind asking them to stop, not be on your phones 24/7. I'm sure Saksham's parents are holding this conversation against us. So we're going to leave it at that. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Saksham, thank you for sharing your story. That's all the time we have for now. We head into a very quick break. Coming up next, though, we will be going over to our persons of interest. A truly inspiring couple. They are the founder of Roll the Dice, and their initiative is dedicated to reviving traditional Indian board games. So this is another alternative if you're really caught up in your screens all day long. We'll be going across to them in just a bit. Be right back.
News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Now, if we all, when bursting crackers was allowed, Rahul, when we were kids, the best bombs used to be the Lakshmi bombs and the atom bombs.
Yeah.
If you ever buried it in loose soil and set it off, it used to dampen the entire thing. Whereas if you put it, there used to be those big concrete cylinders for pipes and water. Yeah. If you put it inside that, it would actually amplify it. Now, remember, the Pakistanis tested their weapons in very hard granite rock, which amplified their effect. And we tested it in extremely soft soil, which dampened their effect. Right? Now, if our scientists say they are happy with the results, and clearly our military and our prime ministers are happy with the results, well and good. If they aren't, if Trump creates the opening for further testing, I'm sure we'll take it up. On nuclear issues, I don't think any Prime Minister of India ever has in any form or way weakened the actual deterrent. They might have made these statements to, lull the enemy into a sense of complacency. Like, for example, Manmohan Singh said, what is the use of nuclear weapons, etc., etc. And this he said while he himself gave the orders for more nuclear weapons to be produced. If you remember Rajiv Gandhi, this Rajiv Gandhi action plan, why did he come up with this so-called Fabian thing of Rajiv Gandhi action plan where the whole world would give up nuclear weapons? Because he wanted to give the orders to start weaponizing. So he had to take an absolute maximalist position so that he could actually start manufacturing the bombs. So no Prime Minister of India has ever been, idealistic and goofy on.
So let me bring in General Narasimhan on that point, sir. You've been an insider. You probably know what and where things stand. Is the deterrence well established? And again, the question that Sushant Sareen asked, what is minimum? Why do we say minimum?
The reason why we say minimum is, I just want to take a lesson from what Mao Zedong said when he started the China's nuclear program. He said, I need only 6 nuclear weapons. That was his minimum deterrent that he talked about. Okay. So, like Abhijit mentioned, in the credible minimum deterrence part of it, the numbers play only a smaller role. What we need to understand is when we say credible minimum deterrence, the numbers we have is what we have. But what we should be capable of is protecting our systems from any kind of attack on them and be able to respond. That is where the deterrence comes in. So this is something I think we need to keep in mind. On the nuclear doctrine issue, please understand the ambiguity is the one which is our strength. We have kept it minimal. Like, for example,
Welcome back. Well, 2 techies left their jobs to bring back something in India which was forgotten, almost forgotten. Traditional board games. Tanushree and Shashi Shekhar's venture Roll the Dice is turning ancient Indian games like Chokabara and Pagade into handcrafted keepsakes for modern homes made with wood, fabric, not plastic. What started as an effort to pull their kids away from screens is now a full-time mission connecting families across generations. Their workshop in Mysuru works with artisans in places like Channapatna and Bengaluru, keeping old crafts alive while making play sustainable again. So let's quickly bring them in. Tanushree and Shashi Shekhar join us this morning. They're founders of Roll the Dice. Good morning to the both of you. Hi. We see some lovely board games in your frame. So tell us all about the story of Roll the Dice first.
Myself, Tanushree. Hi everyone. Myself, Tanushree. I am the founder of Roll the Dice. Actually, I am an engineer by education and qualification. So I worked in ISC as a project assistant and then in HP, Global Edge and CGI Logica. I worked in corporate for 12 years. After that, I took a break. So I did my MS from BITS planning in WILP, Work Integrated Learning Program. So then I started Roll the Dice. That's about me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm Shashi. So I also did my BE from Mysore itself, and later on I ran a company, services company, for until 2011. After which I went to Bangalore, worked at MNC, and came back to Mysore in 2020. Joined another startup. Then finally I thought, okay, I saw value in what Tanushree was doing, so I joined her last year. So right now, we are both in it together, and we are finding a lot of encouragement, support, and we are actually getting the vibes, good vibes from our customers. So this is motivating us to build all these games that you see over here. And actually, this is a subset of our games.
Okay, lovely. Now, Shashi, Tanushree, reviving traditional Indian board games isn't a very conventional idea, especially when you're thinking of it as a business and you're starting from nowhere. So tell us about the initial story, what brought you to this idea, about the initial challenges. Tell us all.
Initially, I never had any of this stuff. I was just like, I'm enjoying this game, Mike enjoying, so let me take these games to the society or to people who want to learn. Okay, it's only after 1 or 2 years I realized the kind of value, potential, the heritage, the history it holds, the legend stories. Then I realized that I should make it big. And then I start, attending women entrepreneurship program, and my husband said, let us do a company for that. So, initially when I started, I didn't have any idea of turning it into a business. I just started it with my passion and interest. And as we start doing more of research about this game, we realize there's so much value.
Okay, Shashi, your thoughts? It's not a business idea we hear of often. I want to hear from you as well what your initial thoughts were.
I'd like to add to what Shri said. Your question was about why did we find this feasible and why did we decide to make it full-time. So the first thing is, in a sense, there are quite a few people who are doing similar, they're building such games. But the main thing is, what we realized was we need to add value to the games. In a sense, even now, the biggest constraint that we face while taking these games to our customers is that most people do not know that these games exist. And many of them who might have heard about these games, they don't know how to play this. And these are very abstract games, traditional games that has come from the folklore in India, in a sense, from multiple places across India. But then we saw that, okay, we need to add value here, and that is basically by creating documentation, writing some good manuals, providing instructions, creating some game videos, then taking these games to the communities, participating in shows, exhibitions like that, and then taking these to the people and make them realize, okay, these are some things that has been there in our country from years together, and this is something that we should be, connected with.
Okay, let's do some games now. Tanushree, talk us through some of these games and tell us how they're A, played, and B, how they're integral to India's culture and traditions. Let's start with Nava Kankadi, since it's one of your favorite.
Nava means 9. Kankari means it's stones in Sanskrit. So Nava Kankari is basically an advanced form of tic-tac-toe game. So most of us have played that XOXO, making it straight line, diagonal line or horizontal. So it is very much advanced. The beauty of this game is what it has 4 phases, and each phase there is a twist to bring. So the people will start laughing when they come to stage 3, and stage 4, it gets so intense that people are not even lifting their eyes. So they are focused on the game. But it gets finished so soon, the people don't stop it one time. They play it for, best out of 3, best out of 5. So that is the fun part of this game, and enjoyed by almost every people. Whoever have played, they were mesmerized with that game concept, the play rules and all.
Oh, we also see you teaching some of these games, people taking a lot of interest in those visuals we've been playing out. But Shashi, tell us about Bakchal now, the Tigers Goats game. It's played prominently in South India, I believe.
This is known as tigers and goats popularly. Here in Karnataka, it's called as Adupuli, and it's also known as Adupuli in Tamil Nadu, or Puli Judam or something like that. And in the northern parts, especially Nepal, where it is played pretty much, it's called as Bakchal. So, and there are multiple variants of this game. In the sense, this is actually and you can find this game etched on the floors of quite a few places across South India. In the sense, quite a few temples in South India. This is basically a two-player game, and one player takes the role of tiger, and the other player takes the role of a goat. So there's also they use cows or cows and tiger, or lion and tiger, lion and goats. All these variants are there. So basically, what happens is the tigers lay in wait for the goats to come, and it is played turn by turn, and it's a strategy game. So when the goat player keeps on coming in, the tigers try to find ways of eating up the goats. So if the tigers amongst them, if they can eat up say around 5 to 6 goats, the tigers win. For the goats, the objective is to corner the tigers. The goats shouldn't allow the tigers to move. So this is a asynchronous game, and you'll need strategy. You'll need to strategize.
Okay. Also tell us whether response to these games is same across all age groups. So from parents to children, are families playing it together? And how would you say these games are different from the games we've heard of since years? Board games like Snakes and Ladders, Ludo, chess to an extent. How different are they?
Actually, you might be surprised. Most of the modern games that we play have their origins in the Indian games. Like, for example, Snakes and Ladders. So it has been derived from the Indian games called Kailas Pat, Moksha Pat, Vaikunta Pat. There are multiple variants of that that game in India, in a sense, which was played across the ages. We have lost that, or rather, we aren't playing that for the last so many decades now. But before that, apparently people played that all the time. And the chess, it has been derived from Chaduranga, which was actually almost a training manual or instruction kit for princes and warriors in the olden days in India. So that has traveled westwards, and then it has come back. Then again, Navakankari has also, has gone across the world, and it is called as Nine Men's Morris elsewhere.
Okay.
And Ludo, it has been derived from our Pagade and Chopat, Chausar, all these dice-based and the chance-based games. And even that is a simplified form of this game. So when people say, okay, we are comfortable with Ludo, we tell them, look, it's obviously, it's a similar game, but here you have more nuances. With these boards, game sets, you can play more variants of whatever that game that you already play.
Oh, very interesting. You're telling us Ludo, etc. have actually come from some of these traditional games. Shashi, but take us all the way back. You said you joined Tanushree in this initiative 100% just a year or two ago. What was your response initially when Tanushree first pitched this idea, that this is what I want to do?
Actually, I was a bit skeptical. of the two, I was a bit skeptical about this, and I knew doing any business because I had run a business for a long time. So I knew doing any business takes up a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and of course a lot of capital also.
Yeah.
So I was not very comfortable when she started it. But then when we were actually seeing what kind of difference it was making and how people were responding to it, so I gave my full support to her even while I was working. In a sense, I was just helping her out with some designs and some accounting and other kind of things. So later on, when I decided, okay, I will also jump into this full-fledged. So we wanted to bring in the digital aspect to this one. In a sense, obviously, now we are in an age where we can't do away with digital influences. So there are a lot of people who are actually playing online on their games and everything. So we wanted to bring our traditional board games also with a modern experience. So we are digitizing these games as well.
Okay, that's as we speak. Okay, lovely. Tanushree, your business model is not just reviving traditional games. Sustainability also very interestingly is at the core of this initiative. How did that thought come into play? Was that one of the driving factors? No plastic, only eco-friendly.
When we
Plastic toys, whatever we saw, we keep reading a lot of plastic heal toys, garbage, this, that, and plastic toy, once it is broken, it cannot be reused or remade. So that is dead waste only. But with our set of games and toys, if one component is lost, we can use some other components. So that is one thing. Second thing is we wanted to do it in a sustainable way because we keep hearing all about global warming, sustainability, eco-friendly, healthy lifestyle, sustainable lifestyle. So when we are hearing, why not implement? So that's how we started.
Okay, all right. Before I let the two of you all go, I want to ask you about your favorite game and give us a reason as well.
Okay, what game I play with my kids is Chokabara. My kids love Chokabara very much. This is the Chokabara game. Okay, this game, it opens up a lot of conversation between me and my kids. Okay, the kids slowly start telling about what happened in the school, college while playing the game, and they realize and they are so alert. And it develops their patience constantly because they keep waiting for their turn, and they so vigilant that the others are not cheating them by moving their pawns or cowrie. So we enjoy Chokabara very much, and every weekend we play one game for sure, because that's one time the kids feel so happy, relaxed, and if they lost the game, they say we will play one game one more time, and we'll do. So that is the best memory we are creating for them. I am happy for that.
Okay, lovely. So Chokabara is your family game. Lovely. Now I want to ask you, and Shashi, maybe you can start. Any regrets having left a well-paid, stable job, jumping into this, jumping into the unknown? Do you regret anything at the back of your mind?
So almost every day. In a sense, the regret is not as much as about thinking why do we do this kind of thing, but it's a typical regret that an entrepreneur faces, because when there are a lot of pressures, right, in the sense as parents, and then as people that we need to support our families and all those things. So obviously there is a lot of pressure as parents itself. So, and also as a business, there are so many constraints in terms of getting planning how many to build, and once we build so many products, so how do we sell and where do we sell, and there are a lot of things, and especially both of us being husband and wife, obviously it becomes a challenge for how do we handle any particular scenario or situation without both of us getting into that, and at least one of us being free in taking care of the other family necessities and other kind of things. So this is one particular thing that we feel.
So when there's a lot of work, it's a lot of work for both of you all. There's no way out. There's no escape. Tanushri, do you feel the same?
I feel same. Sometimes I feel some things are, over and above my capacity, but still I keep pushing because nothing comes easily. Nothing comes easily in life. So I have experience and all. So it makes me feel happy, when customer says that they are connected to their grandparents or they are connected to their kids. Their kids are now loving the family time. And particularly the NRI and Western who takes our game, they play it so religiously once a week, and they keep updating us, madam, we played this game, Tanushri, hey, we played this game, and it's giving so much of joy. So I feel, yes, I'm connecting to the next generation, and I'm creating a kind of awareness and pride about our old ancient Indian game. That makes me feel happy. Sometimes, we are very cautious in spending. Many times we cut down our holidays. We won't get, because our business demands are mostly on vacation time, holidays. When my kids get holidays and every people are on holidays mood, and we both keep working full time. So my kids are kind of, when you both get time, we also need some family time. So those are some plus and minus are there. The best part is my kids have known all the games, so I feel happy for them.
Oh yes, and words of appreciation, like you rightly pointed out, Tanushri, is all that counts at the end of the day. Thank you so much to the both of you for sharing your lovely story and sharing Roll the Dice with us, our audience, this morning. Thank you. All right, with that, we shift our focus now to the Overdrive verdict. We get you an in-depth look at the Toyota Land Cruiser 300, a legendary SUV that is known for its rugged capabilities and luxurious features. Overdrive has driven it to find out what makes it so desirable. Here's the verdict.
Almost no other car seems to say you mean business as well as the Toyota Land Cruiser. Now this Land Cruiser 300 generation is quite a departure as far as Land Cruisers go. But what is it that makes this car so special and makes people wait years to get one? Let's find out. Breaking from the norm, this generation of the Toyota Land Cruiser isn't exactly larger than the last one, but that still makes it massive. The face seems to have just that degree of intimidation you want from such a car. The chunky, slab-sided look and just how high it sits off the ground makes you sit up and notice. Even the approach and departure angles haven't changed from the last model, but under the skin, quite a lot has been going on. The center of gravity has been lowered by moving the engine 70 mm further back and 28 mm lower. You notice how far back it sits in the engine bay because of this. Now this generation is over 200 kgs lighter than before. Now I just told you that it pretty much is the same dimension. So how has Toyota managed it? Of course, the frame itself is much lighter, a lot of new materials, much stronger. But a lot of the panels, the doors, the roof, the bonnet, all of them are aluminium. A far cry from the many sporty coupe SUVs you can get now, the Land Cruiser has a functional boxy glass area that's typical of its brief as a tool to get you places reliably. You do get some flashy chrome finished 20-inch alloys with this ZX version, but the chunky sidewalls are still practical. Ground clearance is a useful 230 mm. Now the Land Cruiser that Toyota will sell to you in India is the 5-seater. Now what that means is you get an absolutely massive boot. As you can see, it's pretty much just a big square storage space, very deep. So whatever size suitcase you want, the biggest that I can think of will probably fit here anywhere you want, and will fit quite a few of them. And just like these ladder frame cars, you don't have the spare wheel within the compartment. You do have the toolkit here, and the spare wheel is below. Now what that means is you have a fairly high lip, but Toyota has been thoughtful. You have this sort of rubberized panel here, so you won't scuff the bodywork. So yeah, with that it should be easy enough to put stuff into the compartment. Now there is some practicality. You have this 100-watt power socket here, but since this doesn't have air suspension, you can't actually lower it like you can say in some rivals, but you do get these quite sturdy sort of straps. The rear is again quite simple with the small lighting that mimics the front and flat panels that put function over form. Now, the Land Cruiser was always meant to be a functional tool, and even now when it's become a lot more plush and premium, you still get that sense when you step inside. You won't find any of that polished aluminium or lamb's wool or whatever else you find in other luxury SUVs of this price, but you will get that durable, tough, simple sense that you get in any other Toyota, but elevated. So what you will see is that all the surfaces that you touch are softly padded. The leather here where you would rest your foot, it's all soft materials. You have this nice wood veneer here, but there's also good practicality within this. So you have this absolutely massive glove box. Just look at the size of this owner's manual. And yes, you have cubbies everywhere. So you have this deep storage space here, which in some other markets actually holds a DVD player. But here maybe you can put your phone in, maybe your wallet and so on. You have this really neat kind of arrangement with the big cool box here. It's not just a storage compartment, it actually cools stuff, and I can attest for this working very well as your fridge at home. And yes, you do have that problem that many other ladder frame cars have of the door bins not being all that wide. So even fitting a 1 litre bottle is a bit tight. Even at the back, it's not the biggest. The screen setup is standard Toyota fare. The 12.3-inch touchscreen is similar to what you find in the new Camry with its clean, functional look. It's not the most vibrant or functional one that you can get, and there's only wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but it does the job reliably. You also have an inbuilt sat-nav function and some connected features. With this 2025 model, you get a 12.3-inch driver's display. It's highly configurable and is logical enough once you get the hang of it. With the Land Cruiser, you get some off-road specific data and some smart graphics as you shift through the modes. We do think a Land Rover-like rear-view camera may have been a good addition, since the second row headrest does block out quite a bit of the view in the mirrors. But really, if you are sick and tired of the touch screens and capacitive panels that you see in cars right now, this is for you. There is hard tactile button for pretty much everything. So I can control almost all the functions of the 4-zone climate control from here. The heated and ventilated seats, you have that auto heating and cooling seat function from the Lexus, which is nice. And just the arrangement of it makes so much sense. So you have all the AC controls right within your reach. The start-stop button is here. And all the off-road and drive-related functions are all well within place. So you have the very tactile rotary selector, which gives you these neat graphics in the screen.
All right, with that, it's time for us to head into a very quick break. We're not done as yet. We'll be right back on The Breakfast Club. Keep watching.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Now, if we all, when bursting crackers was allowed, Rahul, when we were kids, the best bombs used to be the Lakshmi bombs and the atom bombs.
Yeah.
If you ever buried it in loose soil and set it off, it used to dampen the entire thing. Whereas if you put it, there used to be those big concrete cylinders for pipes and water. Yeah. If you put it inside that, it would actually amplify it. Now, remember, the Pakistanis tested their weapons in very hard granite rock, which amplified their effect. And we tested it in extremely soft soil, which dampened their effect. Right? Now, if our scientists say they are happy with the results, and clearly our military and our prime ministers are happy with the results, well and good. If they aren't, if Trump creates the opening for further testing, I'm sure we'll take it up. On nuclear issues, I don't think any prime minister of India ever has in any form or way weakened the actual deterrent. They might have made these statements to, lull the enemy into a sense of complacency. Like, for example, Manmohan Singh said, "What is the use of nuclear weapons, etc., etc." And this he said while he himself gave the orders for more nuclear weapons to be produced. If you remember Rajiv Gandhi, this Rajiv Gandhi action plan, why did he come up with this so-called Fabian thing of Rajiv Gandhi action plan where the whole world would give up nuclear weapons? Because he wanted to give the orders to start weaponizing. So he had to take an absolute maximalist position so that he could actually start manufacturing the bombs. So no Prime Minister of India has ever been, idealistic and goofy on.
So let me bring in General Narasimhan on that point, sir. You've been an insider. You probably know what and where things stand. Is the deterrence well established? And again, the question that Sushant Sareen asked, what is minimum? Why do we say minimum?
The reason why we say minimum is
All right, we now bring to you a special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing in business insights. First, from the markets, GIFT Nifty indicates a soft opening for Indian stock markets. Asian stock markets open lower after weak US economic data. Crude oil prices have eased on concerns supplies may exceed demand, and gold prices hold steady as traders digest comments from Federal Reserve policymakers for clues on interest rates. Going on to a few sectors in particular, India's equity market is the world's fourth largest, behind only US, China and Japan. Over the past 2 decades, it has grown at a robust CAGR of about 17%. Discount brokers now dominate the landscape, accounting for most of the active NSE clients in financial year 25, and this segment stands to be a key beneficiary of the ongoing expansion in equity markets. So don't forget to log into Money Control Pro to find out more about the equity broking sector and other actionable insights on markets. And while this morning was all about letting go a little of your gadgets and turning to the real world, don't forget to tune into the Breakfast Club tomorrow morning. We'll see you. That's all for now. Thanks.
बिल्कुल नर्वस नहीं हूँ, बेशक मेरे लिए चैलेंजिंग है, लेकिन मैं हर एक चैलेंज उतनी मजबूती के साथ एक्सेप्ट करती हूँ।
आपको लगता है पॉसिबल है हर घर में एक सरकारी नौकरी?
वो बोल रहे हैं, उसके साथ बता भी रहे हैं।
तो आप उम्मीद रखते हैं कि मिल सकती है?
बिल्कुल उम्मीद
अच्छा।
रखा जा सकता है।
आपने तो मुस्लिम सीएम बनाने का दावा किया था, उस पे
सुनिए, अब जिसको घर में मोहब्बत नहीं मिलती है ना, तो हम पे गिर जाता है।
अपने मैनिफेस्टो में कहा है कि अगर वो सत्ता में आते हैं तो वो वक़्फ़ जो है उसको रद्द कर देंगे।
इनकी हैसियत है क्या?
Brought to you by This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Now, if, we all, when bursting crackers was allowed, Rahul, when we were kids, the best bombs used to be the Lakshmi bombs and the atom bombs.
Yeah.
If you ever buried it in loose soil and set it off, it used to dampen the entire thing. Whereas if you put it, there used to be those big concrete cylinders for pipes and water. Yeah. If you put it inside that, it would actually amplify it. Now, remember, the Pakistanis tested their weapons in very hard granite rock, which amplified their effect. And we tested it in extremely soft soil, which dampened their effect. Right? Now, if our scientists say they are happy with the results, and clearly our military and our prime ministers are happy with the results, well and good. If they aren't, if Trump creates the opening for further testing, I'm sure we'll take it up. On nuclear issues, I don't think any Prime Minister of India ever has in any form or way weakened the actual deterrent. They might have made these statements to, lull the enemy into a sense of complacency. Like, for example, Manmohan Singh said, "What is the use of nuclear weapons, etc., etc." And this he said while he himself gave the orders for more nuclear weapons to be produced. If you remember Rajiv Gandhi, this Rajiv Gandhi action plan, why did he come up with this so-called Fabian thing of Rajiv Gandhi action plan where the whole world would give up nuclear weapons? Because he wanted to give the orders to start weaponizing. So he had to take an absolute maximalist position so that he could actually start manufacturing the bombs. So no Prime Minister of India has ever been, idealistic and goofy on.
So let me bring in General Narasimhan on that point, sir. You've been an insider. You probably know what and where things stand. Is the deterrence well established?
Evade, deflect.
I will chase, dissect.
You're choosing, demanding.
I'm confronting, decoding. No spins, fabrications.
I break news.
And revelations.
I track.
Pursue. I drill down, cut through.
You trust.
Decide. Together we will rise.
Follow the most comprehensive coverage of the battle for Bihar with the best team in English news. Only on CNN News 18.
Hello and welcome. Very good morning. You're watching CNN News 18 with me, Arun Dhanda. Let's start this bulletin with the top headlines that we're tracking at this hour. PM doubles down on the Grand Alliance's CM pick, mocks Lalu family over Halloween posts, accuses India bloc of insulting Bihar. Kharge hits back, calls PM leader of liars. Voter roll revision begins across 12 states. DMK moves top court. Stalin warns genuine voters may lose rights. TMC protests in Bengal after alleged SIR-linked death. Supreme Court slams air watchdog as Delhi chokes. Only 9 of 37 monitoring stations working during Diwali, raising doubts over grab enforcement. Drunk driving and wrong way crashes in Rajasthan. Telangana highlight India's deadly highways. Experts blame poor driving, weak enforcement for rising fatalities. 3 men attack student near Coimbatore airport, abduct her after breaking into car. Police arrest all 3. BJP and DMK spur over law and order. Finnish PM Alexander Stubb tells Palki Sharma India deserves UNSC seat, says free trade deal possible, warns UN credibility at risk if India excluded. All right, now let's bring you the top story that we are tracking in this bulletin. Prime Minister Modi has intensified his attack on the opposition ahead of the Bihar elections, doubling down on the Mahagathbandhan CM face Tejaswi Yadav. At a rally, the Prime Minister took a swipe at the RJD, pointing to viral images of Lalu Prasad Yadav's family celebrating Halloween. PM said that opposition enjoys celebrating foreign festivals but insult Chhath Puja. Modi accused the India bloc of mocking Bihari traditions and aligning with forces that disrespect the state's identity. In a sharp rebuttal, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge called the Prime Minister a leader of liars, accusing him of deflecting from the real issues.
साथियों, कांग्रेस का शाही परिवार, आरजेडी का शाही परिवार दुनिया भर के त्योहार मनाते हैं और विदेशी त्योहार मनाने में उनको मजा आती है। जब छठ महापर्व की आती है तो ये लोग क्या कहते हैं? छठ महापर्व हमारे लिए कितना बड़ा गर्व का, अभिमान का अवसर है। ये कहते हैं ये छठ वाले तो ये सब ड्रामा कर रहे, ड्रामा। आरजेडी और कांग्रेस, इनकी डिक्शनरी में कट्टा, क्रूरता, कटुता, कुसंस्कार कुशासन और करप्शन ऐसे ही शब्द भरे पड़े हैं। गठबंधन को बहुत बड़ी ताकत देने वाला एनडीए के जो साथी हैं, जो इस चुनाव के मैदान में एकजुट होकर लड़ रहे हैं, उनको विजयी बनाना है। और दूसरी तरफ जो जंगल राज वाले हैं, उनको ऐसा पराजय देना है, ऐसा पराजय देना है कि वो बिहार का कभी बुरा सोच भी न सके। आपका वोट एनडीए की सरकार को मजबूती देने वाला है और इसलिए सभी नौजवान बेटे बेटी जो पहली बार वोट डाल रहे हैं, उनको मेरा विशेष आग्रह है कि इस बार आपका वोट एनडीए की सरकार बनाने वाला वोट होना चाहिए। जो इतने बड़े उनके लिए नेता थे, जिनके परिवार के सारे लोग चुनाव के मैदान में हैं, और फिर ये छुपा छुपाई क्यों हो रही है? अरे अपने पिता का नाम बोलने में, छुपाने में शर्म क्यों आ रही है? छठ महापर्व को इसलिए भी ड्रामा बताया ताकि बिहार के लोग आरजेडी पर गुस्सा उतारे और आरजेडी को पराजित करे, इसलिए ऐसी बातें बोली जा रही है।
आप इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री हो, इस देश को चलाने वाले, हर जगह जाके सिर्फ कांग्रेस को गालियां देना, टीका टिप्पणी करना, यही काम नहीं आपका। वो भाषण में भी बोले हम 1 करोड़ नौकरियां देंगे। अरे बाबा, 2 करोड़ नौकरियां हर साल देने का वायदा नहीं आपने पूरा नहीं किया। मोदी साहब झूठों के सरदार हैं।
ये राहुल बाबा तो अभी आए थे, घुसपैठिया बचाओ यात्रा निकाला। एक घुसपैठिया हमारे गरीबों का अनाज में बंटवारा कराता है, युवाओं की रोजगारी छीनता है, और जो बांग्लादेश से यहां आए हैं उनको बिहार का सीएम कौन होगा इसका वोट देने का अधिकार नहीं है।
नरेंद्र मोदी जी, 14 करोड़ बिहार वासियों के बारे में आप बात कीजिए, इस पे बात कीजिए कि हमारा बिहार नंबर 1 कब बनेगा, कैसे बनेगा। बेकार की बातें क्यों करते हैं भाई? लालू जी ने जो काम किया है, सामाजिक न्याय किया है, रेलवे का मुनाफा किया है, मोदी जी 7 जन्म में भी नहीं कर सकते।
All right, now quickly go across to my colleagues there in Bihar, Payal and Arunima. Payal, let's start with you. Today is the last day of campaigning before the first phase of polling. You've been in the state, you've been traveling across. What has been the highlight of the campaigning for all the parties in this first phase?
Well, Arun, it's just a few hours to go before the campaigning actually starts for the first phase of elections. The BJP is going all out today. You have Union Home Minister Amit Shah, you have Rajnath Singh, you have JP Nadda, all campaigning across the first phase seats as well. You also have 4 chief ministers coming in. Himanta Biswa Sharma comes in, Nayab Saini comes in, so multiple chief ministers. Mohan Yadav is also in as well. The BJP is not leaving anything to chance, even though they're very, very confident, Arun, that the narrative that they wanted to set, that the RJD would bring in Jungle Raj, the fact that RJD had nothing to back them, and the fact that they disrespected women by disrespecting Chhat and insulting the Prime Minister, all of these narratives seem to be setting the right tone that they would have really liked. So the last leg and the last attack is going to continue as we mount till about 5 p.m. this evening, when the campaigning will start for the first phase. But clearly this is a very, very important election as far as Bihar is concerned. Very important election, because it's going to be a huge test as far as the NDA unity is concerned. Ever since 2024, this is the first time that Narendra Modi formed a government of coalition in the center. It's a big test because Bihar is a big state. So BJP going all out, they're not leaving anything to chance.
Stay with us, Payal. Let me also go across to Arunima. Arunima, you are also there in Bihar. You've been traveling across. You've also gone to Mokama. Now, Anand Singh, of course, has been arrested in that murder charges. This was one of the biggest poll planks of the NDA there, that, look, if, Mahagathbandhan comes to power, then Jungle Raj will be back. But how they are dealing with this situation when an JDU candidate, NDA candidate is involved in a killing and he's been arrested?
Union Minister Lalan Singh, who's also a JDU leader, was in Mokama yesterday demanding votes for Anand Singh, canvassing for him, telling voters that you must vote for Anand Singh. So it's a peculiar situation where government of the day, even though police says that they have acted under instructions from the Election Commission of India, the fact is that the government of the day here, even though they are a lame duck government, they are pushing for Anand Singh's prosecution for Dulal Chand Yadav's murder, while the party in command, JDU, is going and saying that he is innocent and people must vote for him. So that is how the Anand Singh factor is being tackled on ground. RJD feels that this was deliberately engineered to polarize voters. Dulal Chand Yadav's death has polarized the Yadav voter, but there's also counter-polarization of the Bhumihars. Anand Singh is a Bhumihar. Lalan Singh comes from that community as well. So this counter-polarization could actually help NDA sail through, is what the JDU camp, which is supporting Anand Singh, feels. But will it also have an impact on nearby states? Every time NDA speaks about Jungle Raj, Mokama is held up by the Mahagathbandhan, saying that, how is it that this kind of a killing is being allowed, or this being excused by the ruling dispensation.
Stay with us, Arunima. Payal, as we were discussing earlier, that there is full might of NDA today in the campaigning. Talk to us about these areas on which these top leaders of NDA are going to campaign.
Well, they're going to campaign across all the seats across the first phase of elections. The Union Home Minister will be campaigning in Darbhanga today, is what we are given to understand. Raksha Mantri is campaigning in various places as well. You have Smriti Irani, who's hit campaign trail yesterday. Remember, she's a very important leader in the wake of the fact that the BJP is focusing a lot on women. Rekha Gupta, the Delhi Chief Minister, is here. So all of these leaders have been put to the length and breadth of the state, especially, not even just concentrating on the first phase of election, but also in the second phase of election in some seats as well. Like I said, that the BJP has brought its entire force together. The top leaders have been camping here in Bihar, whether it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who, in fact, closed his campaigning yesterday for the first phase of election, leading the charge, or whether it is, of course, JP Nadda, Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh today. So multiple top leaders, 4 chief ministers, like I really mentioned, the BJP going all out and all guns blazing. This is typically the way in which the BJP campaigns, Arun. You know it as good as anybody else, because we've been covering this party for a very long time, and they leave absolutely nothing to chance, whether it's a university election, a parliamentary election, or even an assembly election. But politically speaking, Bihar is a caste-ingrained state and a very important state. This is the first state in which all the 4 to 5 alliances that the BJP have, they have fought together. In the past, we've seen one alliance being with the BJP and the other alliance being out of it as well. But this time, whether it's Chirag Paswan, there is Jiten Ram Majhi, of course, there is Nitish Kumar, and everybody's coming together with the one goal that they have to, work towards a developed and, Bihar, which is looking forward to its journey towards Viksit Bharat.
Thank you so much, Payal, for joining us on this story. Now we have some reactions on this story. Let's cut to that.
आपको लगता है कि महिलाएं एक क्रूशियल फैक्टर उभरेंगी इस इलेक्शन में?
देश की आधी आबादी का निर्णय हमेशा ही महत्वपूर्ण रहा है, और अब वो समय आ गया जब महिलाएं अपने हित को समझती हैं। कब किसके राज में उन्हें क्या सुविधाएं मिली, किसने उनके बारे में सोचा, और किसके शासनकाल में उन्होंने तरक्की की। और निश्चित रूप में बिहार में एनडीए की सरकार के शासनकाल में जिस तरीके से पूरे राज्य का माहौल बदला, जंगल राज खत्म किया गया, कानून व्यवस्था लागू की गई, तो यहाँ की बहनों ने अपने आप को सुरक्षित भी महसूस किया और प्रगति की ओर आगे बढ़ते हुए भी अपने आप को देखा।
यहाँ आते हैं राहुल गांधी और कहते हैं प्रधानमंत्री नौटंकी करते हैं।
ऐसा व्यक्ति जो छठ मैया की, बिहार में खड़े होकर छठ माँ की जो बात कहे कि जनता ढोंग कर रही है, तो वो क्या बिहार को समझेगा, क्या बिहार की जनता को समझेगा, क्या उनकी भावनाओं को समझेगा। तो निश्चित रूप में बिहार के लोग ये जानते हैं कि ये सब लोग केवल बरसाती मेंढक के जैसे आते हैं और उसके बाद उनका कोई लेना देना नहीं है। अगर भारत की राजनीति में कोई एकमात्र व्यक्ति जिसने पूरे देश की बहनों के हित में हमेशा निर्णय लिया है, अपने विकास की जितनी योजनाएं हैं उसकी धुरी किसी को बनाया है, तो वो महिलाएं हैं, वो नेता है नरेंद्र मोदी। तो नरेंद्र मोदी जी के संरक्षण में, उनके नेतृत्व में देश विकास कर रहा है। भारत
तो प्रधानमंत्री जी का जो समय है वो रोजगार दिलवाने में, विकास लाने में, बड़े बड़े उद्योगों को लगवाने में लगना चाहिए। इसीलिए मेरा सुझाव ये है कि वो एक नया मंत्रालय बना दें और उसका नाम रखें अपमान मंत्रालय। और जब आप अपनी नौकरी, अपने रोजगार के लिए धरना प्रदर्शन करोगे और उनको लगेगा कि देश का अपमान हो रहा है क्योंकि कोई सवाल उठा रहा है, तो अपमान मंत्रालय बुला ले आपको। और इस अपमान मंत्रालय में मेरा ये भी सुझाव है कि मेरे परिवार के बारे में जितनी इन्होंने गालियां दी और जितना उल्टा सीधा बोला उसका भी रिकॉर्ड रखा जाए। एक लाइब्रेरी पूरी बन जाएगी किताबों की, भर देंगे उनको।
उनकी उम्र को देखते हुए हम लोग इस बात का मुद्दा नहीं बनाना चाहते हैं, पर ये चिंता का विषय जरूर रहा है। देखिए, कानून सबके लिए एक बराबर है और एक बराबर होना भी चाहिए। आपने स्वास्थ्य की चिंताओं को जाहिर करते हुए आप बाहर हैं, ऐसे में कभी आप परिवार के साथ घूमने निकल जाते हैं, कुछ तस्वीरें आपकी खेलते कूदते दिख जाती है लोगों के साथ, प्रचार में आप जा रहे हैं। जिस विषय को आपने आधार बनाया, कानून की धाराओं का दुरुपयोग करना भी अपने में एक अपराध है।
एनडीए गिरवी रखना चाहता है बिहार को, गिरवी, और ये घबराए हुए हैं तेजस्वी के नौकरी देने के वादे से, 2500 महिलाओं को सम्मान देने से। इस बार बिहार की जनता सौहार्द को जिताएगी, भाईचारे को जिताएगी।
केशव जी, प्रधानमंत्री ने कल जनता को बताया कि जंगल राज क्या था। उन्होंने कहा कि कट्टे के दम पे जो है वो कांग्रेस और आरजेडी के बीच में बातचीत हुई थी। तेजस्वी यादव का पलटवार है कि प्रधानमंत्री ऐसी भाषा बोलते हैं, उनको सूट नहीं करती।
अच्छा, कट्टा वालों को कट्टा वाला नहीं कहा जाएगा, बम वालों को बम वाला नहीं कहा जाएगा, AK-47 लेकर के घूमने वाले अपराधियों को अपराधी नहीं कहा जाएगा, तो क्या उनको साधु संत कहा जाएगा? अगर राष्ट्रीय जनता दल का ये इतिहास है और कांग्रेस उसके दबाव में उनको मुख्यमंत्री पद का प्रत्याशी घोषित किया है, तो जितनी जो दोषी राष्ट्रीय जनता दल है, श्री लालू यादव का परिवार है, उतने दोषी कांग्रेस और श्री राहुल गांधी जी का परिवार, गांधी परिवार भी है।
उनका ये कहना है कि प्रधानमंत्री एक तरफ गुजरात में फैक्ट्रियों की बात करते हैं और बिहार में कैसी बातें करते हैं।
देखिए, फैक्ट्री तो बिहार में भी लगेगी और फैक्ट्री गुजरात में भी लगेगी, फैक्ट्री देश के हर राज्य में लगेगी, क्योंकि हर राज्य के युवा को हर राज्य में रोजगार उपलब्ध कराना है। लेकिन इसका जवाब इनको देना पड़ेगा कि फैक्ट्री बिहार में बंद क्यों हुई, फैक्ट्री वाले बिहार में क्यों निवेश नहीं कर रहे थे। ये तो निवेश की शुरुआत अब शुरू हुई है जब श्री नीतीश कुमार जी के नेतृत्व में एनडीए की सरकार है। अब लोगों को लगता है कि हम निवेश करेंगे तो हमारा निवेश भी सुरक्षित रहेगा और हम भी सुरक्षित रहेंगे।
यही मानसिकता लेकर ये महाराष्ट्र गए, शिवसेना को तोड़ा। यही मानसिकता लेकर वो पंजाब गए, अकाली दल ने इनका दामन छोड़ा। जहां जाते हैं क्षेत्रीय दलों को निगलने के एक षड्यंत्र रचते हैं। हमारी मानसिकता ये नहीं है, इनकी मानसिकता ऐसी है।
तेजस्वी यादव ने बयान दिया है दोबारा। उन्होंने कहा है कि मोदी जी अपने काम की बात करते हैं, पर जितना काम लालू प्रसाद यादव ने किया शायद जन्मों जन्म में मोदी जी नहीं कर पाएंगे।
देखिए, बहुत इमेच्योर बातें हैं। नहीं तो फिर इसीलिए 20 साल से क्यों सत्ता में नहीं, क्यों जनता उनको वोट नहीं दे रही, क्यों हार रहे हैं, क्यों हर चुनाव हार रहे हैं, क्या कारण है? यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने जो बिहार के लिए किया, बिहार ने कभी सोचा नहीं था, ना भारत ने सोचा था। शौचालय हो, 75 लाख गरीबों का मकान हो, 80 करोड़ में से पूरे गरीबों को और पिछड़ी जात, अति पिछड़े के लिए जो किया है, और आज जो 10,000 रुपये बहनों को, 2 लाख रुपए उनके खाते में, उनको 75 लाख लोगों के अकाउंट में आया, ये सोच और सड़क व्यवस्थाएं मोदी जी, नीतीश कुमार ने जो किया है, ये कभी किसी ने सोचा नहीं था। तो अगर ऐसी बातें तेजस्वी जी कहते हैं तो ये बिहार खुद उनको इस बात को नकारता है, क्योंकि उनकी वो बात भी है कि हर घर में सरकारी नौकरी देंगे। ये सारी इमेच्योर बातें, तो उनकी बातों को कोई गंभीरता से नहीं ले रहा।
Now, CNN News 18's Rahul Shivshankar speaks to C voters Yashwant Deshmukh, who says BJP's biggest setbacks came from Hindi heartland, a sign of local anti-incumbency despite Prime Minister Modi's strong popularity.
This is going to be a humdinger of an election. Some people say that it is going to be decisive in perhaps the politics as we see it, nationally as it emerges. Your opening thoughts first on the larger picture. What was the, this 2024, was it a one-off setback for the BJP in the Hindi heartland or the beginning of a deeper shift, and where does Bihar fit in?
Well, very legit question. I mean, because 2024 certainly was a dampener as far as BJP's own goals were concerned. And the biggest dampeners came in from the states where they least expected them to, perform not that well. So that entire Hindi belt, starting from Rajasthan to Haryana to Uttar Pradesh to Bihar and like that, they kind of slipped almost everywhere a little bit, some places more, some places less. So, Hindi heartland, where Prime Minister Modi arguably enjoys the best of the ratings as far as our trackers are concerned and like that. So even we were confused of sort that how the same Modi factor, which is still running high and which delivered them not just 14 and 19, but a series of assembly election in between 14 and 24. And it just kind of derailed the entire BJP campaign, and it fell down to 240 something, which they were not expecting. So arguably, there are questions to be asked in that way. And the anti-incumbency phenomena that we all kind of are hyper fascinated on, because that's the thing, the crux of democracy as we know it.
Yeah.
And the macro level anti-incumbency and micro level incumbency, that kind of clashes somewhere. There are layers of that. People might be happy with the CM and the Prime Minister, but they may be completely unhappy with the working of the MLAs and the MPs, and sometimes vice versa, So that was the question. If Mr. Modi's popularity or his chief minister's, NDA chief minister's popularity can override the dissatisfaction with their MLAs and the MPs, or if they can go, it can get derailed. And a glimpse of that we had witnessed sometime way back in 2004 when federal election, that's the national election, where Mr. Vajpayee's popularity was in the 60s, just like Mr. Modi's has right now, but it got derailed because of the micro level, state level incumbencies that were building along. So yes, 2024 was an eye-opener, and actually more than 24, what followed after 24 verdict was even more surprising. That when the BJP gets into a damage control exercise, when the RSS calls it that, okay, we are now going to work for you, we see a remarkable turnaround like Haryana, Maharashtra, Jammu region, and that is something which tells us limitations of leadership and organization both. If you ask me, the real double engine is not PM and CM and two people coming together. Real double engine happens when a good leader and a good organization, they work in tandem. If something falters, then one single engine is not good enough to pull the train through. That's how I look at it now. And Maharashtra and Haryana and Jammu and,
even Delhi,
most recently Delhi, for example, they are the prime most example where we have seen for the first time in 11 years, Prime Minister taking a backseat in terms of campaigning and being in the front, and organization taking a front seat in terms of delivering the mandates for the BJP. So yeah, what you are saying is absolutely right. This is after Delhi. Delhi again was not the real test, because in Lok Sabha Delhi BJP won 7 out of 7 in Delhi, and there was almost
and
like
there was a double, yes, absolutely, double
anti-incumbency
anti-incumbency.
Arvind Kejriwal.